The clock struck 4 a.m. as Ethan walked into the gas station, the overhead lights casting an eerie glow. He grabbed a hot dog and some chips, paid for his snacks, and headed back to his car. With the music playing softly in the background, he decided to enjoy his food in the dimly lit parking lot. Opening the car window slightly, a refreshing breeze wafted in, cooling the otherwise balmy night air. As Ethan savored his snack, a sudden tap on the window sent shivers down his spine. Startled, he almost dropped his food, only to see a man standing there, his face obscured by shadows. The stranger tapped on the window again, and fear gripped Ethan as he hastily locked the car doors. Peering through the partially open window, Ethan asked hesitantly, "What's going on?" "Get out of the car, man," the stranger demanded, his voice cold and menacing. Confused and alarmed, Ethan replied, "Excuse me," with a chilling glint in his eye. The man brandished a knife against the glass, leaving a menacing scratch. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Ethan knew he had to act cautiously to protect himself. Panic set in as he assessed the feigning compliance. Ethan told the man, "All right, give me a second," as he subtly prepared himself for a swift escape. Unbuckling his seatbelt, he quickly used his free hand to roll up the window, thanks to the car's automatic feature. The man was momentarily puzzled, attempting to thrust the knife through the shrinking gap, but his efforts were in vain. Desperation and anger consumed the would-be carjacker as he shook the door handle furiously, realizing that the car was now impenetrable. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Ethan shifted the car into reverse and made a daring escape from the gas station, leaving the frustrated man yelling in the distance. Driving away, Ethan caught sight of the gas station's clerk on the phone, likely calling the police. As he looked in the rearview mirror, he defiantly raised his middle finger to the failed carjacker, feeling a mix of relief and triumph. Once safely home, Ethan called the police and provided a detailed statement. The officer revealed that they had received another call about the same man earlier that night, but were unable to apprehend him. Grateful for the good description provided by both Ethan and the clerk, the officer assured him that they would do everything possible to locate the culprit. Weeks passed, and there was no news about the knife-wielding assailant. The incident weighed heavily on Ethan's mind, and he became more vigilant and cautious whenever he was out at night. The tranquility of Everwood had been shattered, and the lingering fear gnawed at him even in the daylight. However, as the days turned into months, life started to return to normal for Ethan. He continued his studies and pursued his passions, finding solace in the company of friends and family. The memory of that terrifying night began to fade, buried under the distractions of daily life. One evening, while watching the local news, Ethan froze when he saw a familiar face flash across the screen. It was the man who had tried to carjack him months ago. The news report detailed a recent spree of violent crimes that had spread across the neighboring towns. The police had finally captured the dangerous fugitive, thanks to a tip from an anonymous source. As the details unfolded, Ethan's heart pounded, realizing how narrowly he had escaped a dangerous encounter. The man's arrest brought a mixture of relief and closure, but it also served as a grim reminder of the unpredictability of life. With the threat finally removed from the streets, the sense of safety slowly returned to Everwood. Ethan became more cautious and vigilant, understanding that darkness could lurk even in the most peaceful places. The experience changed him, fostering a newfound appreciation for life and a determination to make the most of every moment. As the years passed, Ethan's tale became a cautionary one, shared among friends and neighbors. The gas station incident had left an indelible mark on his life, a reminder that danger could strike when least expected. Yet, it also revealed the resilience of the human spirit and the strength found in facing one's deepest fears. And so, in the quiet town of Everwood, life went on. But the memory of that night would never fade. The once innocent gas station became a symbol of bravery and survival, reminding everyone to cherish each day as if it were their last. In the quaint town of Fairville, where everyone knew each other, lived a young woman named Emily. She was known for her independent spirit and outgoing personality. One sunny afternoon, Emily found herself alone at a gas station for the first time. A seemingly ordinary event, but the unexpected silence made her uneasy. The deserted gas station made her feel like she was being watched, though she tried to brush off the feeling as mere paranoia. As she pumped gas into her car, Emily's senses heightened, and she glanced around nervously, sensing an unseen presence. Deciding it was best to retreat to the safety of her vehicle, she hopped into the driver's seat and noticed a man standing at a distance, watching her intently. Feeling unnerved, she raised her voice to address him, hoping to understand his intentions. The mysterious man mumbled something, barely audible to Emily, and then abruptly walked away. She couldn't shake off the unease as she observed him leaving, disappearing into the shadows of the gas station. She tried to put the unsettling encounter behind her but remained on high alert. When the fuel pump clicked to indicate a full tank, Emily stepped out of her car to put it back. As she opened the back seat door to dispose of some trash, she was suddenly shoved forcefully into the back seat. The pain from the impact on her nose left her momentarily dazed. When she looked up, terror filled her eyes as she recognized the same man she had seen before. Her heart pounded in her chest as she pleaded with the man to leave her alone, her voice trembling with fear. He leered at her, his intentions evident as he ignored her pleas, his hands reaching toward her, invading her personal space. Panic surged through her veins, and she struggled desperately to fight him off. But he overpowered her with ease, leaving her feeling vulnerable and violated. The gas station, once a place of routine convenience, became a haunting scene of malevolence and darkness. Emily's worst nightmare had come true, and she felt trapped in the clutches of an insidious predator. Summoning all her strength, Emily fought back with everything she had, kicking and punching with determination. Yet, her attempt seemed futile against his brute force. Her mind raced, searching for an escape route as she tried to stay calm and devise a plan. Just when it seemed there was no hope, a surge of adrenaline coursed through her body, igniting a newfound resolve. With a burst of energy, Emily managed to push him away momentarily. Allowing her to scramble into the driver's seat, she swiftly locked all the doors and sped away, leaving the gas station behind in her rearview mirror. Shaken to her core, Emily decided not to share the traumatic experience with anyone except her best friend, Sarah. Afraid of judgment and shame, she chose to bury the horrifying event deep within herself. The weight of her secret burdened her, affecting her relationships and daily life. Sarah, sensing something was amiss, gently coaxed Emily to open up. As the truth poured out, Sarah listened with empathy and compassion, assuring her friend that the incident was not her fault and encouraging her to seek professional. With Sarah's support, Emily found the courage to report the incident to the authorities. Though terrified of facing her attacker in court, she knew it was necessary to seek justice and prevent him from harming others. Throughout the legal process, Emily discovered a community of survivors who understood her pain and helped her heal. The trial was an emotional ordeal, but Emily refused to let fear consume her. Her resilience and determination helped convict her attacker, ensuring that he would face the consequences of his actions. With the support of friends, family, and therapy, Emily gradually reclaimed her life. She became an advocate for survivors, and she talked about how important it is to talk about it. Emily's courage and strength turned the shadows of her past into a beacon of hope for others, showing that healing was possible and no one should suffer in silence. Fairville, once a town filled with innocence, now stood as a testament to the strength of its people, who rallied together to protect one another and bring light to the darkest of times. Emily's story reminded everyone that courage and unity could conquer the shadows of deceit and restore the spirit of the community. In the small town of Havenbrook, nestled amidst rolling hills and surrounded by serene forests, lived a young boy named Jake. At the age of 7, he was a lively and curious child, always eager to explore the world around him. However, fate had other plans for him one chilling night. The moon hung low in the midnight sky as Jake lay in a hospital bed, battling a severe illness that had confined him to the sterile, fluorescent-lit room. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally began to show signs of improvement. The doctors allowed his father, John, to take him home, and with a sense of relief, they departed from the hospital. It was well past midnight when Jake's father decided to stop at a gas station along the deserted highway. As the soft hum of the engine filled the air, Jake stayed in the truck, still feeling weak but grateful to be heading home. The gas station stood eerily silent, the only signs of life being the flickering neon lights casting haunting shadows. John stepped out of the truck, leaving Jake alone inside. The boy watched his father through the window, trusting in his dad's ability to protect him. However, fate had a sinister surprise in store for them both. As Jake waited in the dimly lit truck, a sense of unease washed over him. He glanced around, feeling a prickle of fear as if he were being watched. Then, without warning, the driver's side door creaked open, and a stranger slipped into the vehicle. Heart pounding, Jake's eyes met the intruder's, and a chill ran down his spine. The man's intentions were clear, and Jake's young mind could not comprehend the danger he was facing. The stranger stammered, attempting to explain himself, but Jake sensed deceit in his trembling voice. Unaware of the unfolding drama outside, John leisurely paid for the gas, oblivious to the danger lurking in the truck. Inside, Jake's instincts kicked in, and he mustered the courage to speak up. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" The intruder's eyes darted between the road and Jake, a desperate calculation evident in his gaze. Frightened but resolute, Jake raised his voice. "You shouldn't be here. Get out." Startled by the young boy's bravery, the intruder realized his plan had been foiled. With a hurried excuse, he retreated from the truck and disappeared into the night, leaving Jake shaken but unharmed. John returned to the truck, unaware of the harrowing encounter that had taken place moments before. Jake sat in silence, his young mind grappling with the gravity of the situation. But for some inexplicable reason, he chose to keep the frightening incident to himself, not wanting to worry his father any further after the recent ordeal at the hospital. As the truck resumed its journey home, a cloud of unease hung over them both. Jake couldn't shake the realization of how close he had come to a sinister fate. The world seemed darker, more dangerous than he had ever known. Years passed, and Jake's silence about that fateful night became a heavy burden, haunting him in the quietest moments. The fear of what might have happened weighed on his soul. Finally, as a teenager, he mustered the courage to share the chilling encounter with his father. John listened intently, his face etched with a mix of relief and horror. He couldn't fathom what could have happened if the intruder's plans had succeeded. The revelation brought them closer, as they both grappled with the chilling truth. The harrowing night at the gas station became a pivotal moment in Jake's life. The incident taught him the importance of vigilance and speaking up against danger. He vowed never to be a silent victim again, dedicating himself to raising awareness about personal safety and the need to share experiences, no matter how terrifying. In time, Jake's courage and determination helped him heal from the trauma, turning him into an advocate for self-protection and empowering others to find their voice. The town of Havenbrook embraced Jake's message, and together, they stood united against the darkness that lurked in the shadows. Through his bravery and the support of his father and community, Jake transformed Night of Terror into a story of resilience.